easy gluten-free sourdough bagels recipe now. Can I actually make delicious gluten-free sourdough bagels from scratch? I'm so excited to share with you my easy gluten-free sourdough bagels recipe that yields amazing results without needing any special skills. If you're a gluten-free bread enthusiast like me, you're going to love this. Gluten-free baking can be super tricky, especially when it comes to sourdough. Many people struggle with gummy textures or dense results. I've been there too, and it's frustrating. The good news is that this recipe is designed to overcome those common issues. So let's try to make this perfect. Welcome back to our simple home. I start the night before with making the sourdough starter. I have here 50 gram sourdough starter that needs to be fed. I add 100 gram of white rice flour and 100 gram of water. I combine everything very well. I stir quite a bit in the jar to make it nice and smooth, and then I just put the lid on top and let it sit on the counter overnight. The next morning I start with the dough, so I add 300 gram of water. I use warm water into my mixing bowl, and then I add 23 gram of psyllium husk powder. Now 1 tablespoon of honey or any other sweetener you like, 20 gram of oil. Now I add 200 gram of my sourdough starter, so there should be still 50 gram available to start a new starter. So here it is, my 200 gram of sourdough starter. Now I add 350 gram of gluten-free flour. I use the Cloud 9 flour from Costco. And then I add 1 3/4 teaspoons of salt. I mix well, very well, like I do it on the knead position, and then mix really long, like about 5-10 minutes. It depends what kind of machine you have. And then I have the dough together. Here I make little heaps of the dough to make the bagels, but you can weigh them to make them all equal. From this recipe I make 8 bagels, so yeah, you can choose how many you want to do, if you want to make bigger ones or smaller ones, but I decided to make 8 of them. Then I use a bowl with water and weten my hands really nicely, and then shape each dough into a ball and then into a bagel right away. So use always water if the dough gets too sticky. If it starts to stick onto your hands, just use a little more water and then form it into a nice looking bagel. When I poke the hole for the bagel, I make sure the finger is very wet, and then I stick my finger into the middle of the bun or whatever you have there, ball, and then shake it all around so the hole gets bigger, and wetten my finger in between if it gets too sticky. Weten it again, and then I make sure the hole is big enough from the bottom as well. I turn it around and check if it's everywhere how I want to look. Make it a little bigger, otherwise when they rise the hole gets smaller, and then it looks almost like a bun and not a bagel. So keep that in mind. But if you make the hole too big, then the bagel breaks easily afterwards if you cook them in the water. Yeah, so just find the middle and the best way to do it. And yeah, you will see. Once you try it, you will figure it out and see what's best to do. So it worked very well for me this way. I find my holes are a little too small. I would do it a little bigger next time, but yeah, you can play around with that. So here I show you close up how I make the ball. Make it nice and wet and turn it and make sure it's nice and round. And then I poke the hole in there and weten my finger and then check from both sides and wheel it around and then put it back onto my baking sheet. If you enjoyed my video so far, please like, subscribe and share my videos with others. That means so much to me, and thank you very much. It helps my channel to grow. Once I have all bagels done, I brush them with water so they are not so sticky, and then I cover them up with a plastic wrapping foil. Then I let them rise in a warm place. My warm place is the oven with the light on and a little open for 3 to 4 hours. And yeah, make sure they're nice and puffy then. Then I take them out of the oven and preheat the oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. In a big cooking pot, I add 6 cups of water and 1.5 tablespoons of baking soda. I turn the stove on to let it boil. Once the water is boiling, I remove the plastic wrapping foil from the bagels, and then I take something so I can transfer the bagels over into the water, and then I cook each side for 30 seconds. For about 30 seconds. I didn't set the timer, but yeah, you know, once you put all 4, like I put 4 each time in there, put 4 in there, then I start turning over the first one to boil on the other side, and then this is how they look when they're boiling. They change the color a little bit. I prepare a clean towel so once they're boiled I can transfer them over onto my towel. I take again something, you can take it out and so the water runs off, and then I transfer it over to the towel so the water can drip off there. Once I have them all out, I cover them with a towel and start doing the other 4. Transfer them over into the boiling water and cook them for 30 seconds on each side. Do you like making gluten-free sourdough bread, bagels, buns, whatsoever? Let me know in the comments. I would like to hear from you guys. And what kind of recipe do you like to make? I would be really interested. I have another gluten-free sourdough bread recipe. I will link it in the right corner and then also in the description. So check it out. Once they are ready to take out, I open the towel again. And yeah, you see here it's foaming quite a bit. Transfer all the bagels over to the towel and make sure they drip all the excess water out on the towel. I cover them back up with the towel and let them rest for a little bit. Meanwhile, I prepare the seeds where what I want to cover the bagels with. Here I have something like all bagel seasoning, or you can use whatever you like. Here I had just a little bit, so I did just a few of those. I cover the next few bagels with poppy seeds. They look also very good on those bagels, on those gluten-free bagels. And yeah, I just roll them in the poppy seeds and then transfer over to the baking sheet. And some gluten-free sourdough bagels I just cover with the sesame seeds, just the light sesame seeds, and they look very pretty too. So here I have all 8 bagels, so they're ready to go into the oven now. Here you can see some holes are a little too small. I should have made them bigger, but I wouldn't change it now. I would only do it when I shape the bagels, because right now I just want to keep them like they are, so they don't get too gooey or too sticky in there. So I want a nice puffy and good looking bagel. So that is how they turned out for now. Rustic and cute. Very good bagels. Now I transfer the gluten-free sourdough bagels over into the preheated oven at 500 degrees Fahrenheit and close the door, and then I reduce the heat to 430 degrees Fahrenheit and bake them for about 30 minutes. Now I let the bagels cool off completely, and here I transfer them over into my bread basket. I think they all look pretty. Doesn't matter what you put on top of those. All kinds of seeds are good and they look good and they taste good. Now I will cut open one gluten-free sourdough bagel. Here you can see up close. I'll cut it open and show you the inside. It is easy to cut, fairly easy. I think it's a little crunchy on the outside, but inside it's very soft and it feels good when I'm cutting it. So here is how it looks from the inside. You can see the air bubbles, no gooey stuff there. Everything nice, and it was nice and puffy, and it looks very good for a gluten-free sourdough bagel. And yeah, it is very soft. You can turn it in all directions, so it's very soft inside. I use some avocado on top of it. Very tasty. They're awesome breakfast bagels, so if you make them, you can use them for breakfast and like for every occasion you like to. Very good. Some nutritional yeast on top and it's ready to go. It's so delicious. The bagel alone already is delicious, but with some avocado it tops everything. So here you can see up close, it's very good, and you can close up the lid. If you want, you can add some other toppings, whatever you like. And so it's ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with others. That means so much to me. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe you want to watch this video next, or maybe this playlist. See you there. Bye.